Hello and welcome back to another episode of Internal Rambles. This is your girl, Rochelle. If you are new, welcome. And if you're returning, thank you for tuning back in. Internal Rambles is a very eclectic podcast. I discuss everything from my life, trending entertainment topics, music, etc. My normal episodes releases every Thursdays, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today we are back with another bonus episode continuing to recap and review Ready to Love Dallas. If you are not new here, you would know that I did not recap last week's episode. And that is because they did not discuss or share who went home last week. And I was like, listen, y'all have been doing this all season. This is normal for this time of the season. At the end, they do the cliffhanger episodes. But they had so many cliffhanger episodes at the beginning of the season. I was like, child, I'm not reviewing this episode and we don't know who went home. So this is going to actually be a double recap episode of episode 9 and episode 10. So since they didn't say who was going home last week, I was like, I'm going to do 2 episodes the following week. So this again is going to be a recap of episode 9 and episode 10. They are on the couples retreat. So this the majority of these of the 2 episodes of Ready to Love. This is going to be when they are all on the couples retreat. Okay. And let me tell you the second episode recap. When I tell you my blood was boiling, it upset my spirit. I'm going to get into it. The second episode, there was a lot that was going on in that. But nonetheless, let's get in this recap of Ready to Love Dallas episode 9 and 10. Alrighty, so like I mentioned, they are on, I said the couples retreat, it's really the singles retreat. They do this every season. It's all the singles. They are all at a location, usually at some cabin or whatever. And it's just a time for them to really have time away, have an overnight or a couple overnights with each other, see who really are the strongest connections, have some fun wherever they are. And you really get to see, this is really my connection. We are eating together, we're cooking together, we're staying the night at the same location, etc. Okay. So in episode 9, the men are in power. So that means one woman is supposed to go home. At the beginning of the episode, Katarina is trying to see if she has a connection with Quentin. Let me tell you something. Katarina is, I've mentioned this previously, she be trying to see, and I do understand that this is what the show is about. Do I have a connection with this one, that one, that? But my thing is, and I'm probably going to mention this later, when she be on solo dates, she got a connection with everybody. Okay, anyways. So Quentin, they're at the retreat. They're outside. They're grilling. Quentin's grilling. And so she's, just talking to him about the experience, how things going. It's cool. She's trying to, hey, I haven't really spent a lot of time with you. She's like, Quentin, what's up with you, But of course, Janelle sees it and she's like, oh no, not Katarina talking to my man. Katarina comes out. Katarina's talking to Quentin, so Janelle comes out and basically is like, Quentin's fine. Find you someone else to talk to. And so Katarina is like, oh, Quentin, you're spoken for? And he's grinning like, yeah, I am. So Katarina in her diary, where she's speaking to the camera, she's like, Quentin, get out of the sunken place. Like, even though your top connection may be Janelle, you're still supposed to be able to talk to people and see if there's anything else out there for you. You have not chosen. You have not said I do to Janelle. But no, child, Janelle is not having it. Go find you someone else to play with. Sierra and Marie have they're all sitting at like a picnic table, and Sierra calls Marie out, and she's like, "Listen, you have not been paying me attention. You're supposed to be one of my connections, but you ain't giving me the attention that I need." And he's like, "Okay, okay," and then a little bit later, she sees him with Jessica, and Jessica's making his play, and he's all smiley and giggly and he and cackling, and and she's like, "This is what I'm talking about." He's attentive to her, but when it comes to me, there's a distance there. If I'm supposed to be one of your connections, you should be showing me similar attention. More to come on Sierra and Marie. Later in the episode, the singles play a game where they're answering crucial questions, and Chris shares that, and we know this about him, that he believes in traditional gender roles, that the man should be the head of the household, the woman, and that the man should be paying the bills, etc. And so Jessica is like, "Listen, I don't believe in traditional gender roles. Women can do just as much as men, etc." And Chris is like, "Here she go, doing the most. She always gotta disagree with me. She is just..." He doesn't talk like this, but Chris cannot take Jessica. If she has a disagreement, an opposing opinion, oh, there she goes. And she wasn't being argumentative, but she's like, "I don't agree with that. Like, women can do just as much." There Jessica goes. Ciao, Chris, go have a seat, please, por favor. And at this game, Katarina and Janelle get into it because Katarina's like, "Listen, I've been the alpha female. I'm ready for the soft life. I'm ready for a male to be the provider, the breadwinner, etc." And Janelle's like, "Of course you are." Janelle definitely gives, while everyone is saying that not everyone, while Chris is saying that Jessica is combative, Janelle really is the mean girl of the bunch. She got into it with, my brain just said Margarita. Her name was not Margarita, it was Tequila. Janelle is really the one that can be the aggressor in situations. And so Janelle is just going back and forth with Katarina and calling her and doing this and doing that. And Katarina's like, "We can have a discussion, but can you dial that down? Be respectful. We can have a disagreement, but be respectful when you talk to me." And Janelle is just this and this and blah, 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 blah. And so Quentin's like, "I like Janelle, but I didn't like her interaction with Katarina. I want a woman that is going to be mature and not be petty." Yeah, that's not Janelle, honey. She gonna go for the jugular in the most immature way. So basically, I perceive that Janelle doesn't like Katarina because she talks to Quentin and she doesn't care that Janelle and Quentin has a connection, but also that's what they're supposed to be doing. She's not being disrespectful. Like, that's not your, I know you think that's your man, but it's still a part of the process. She has every right to have a conversation with Quentin. Okay. Before the disagreement between Janelle and Katarina, Marie shares that he's never been in love before, and that kind of opens up or sheds some light for Sierra that maybe she needs to approach Marie a little bit differently. Like, maybe the reason why he hasn't been as attentive and hasn't showed her what she needs or given her what she needs, because he really hasn't been in a serious relationship or hasn't really been able to be in a serious relationship and hasn't fallen in love, which is interesting because he had the ex-girlfriend that I thought he said he was really into. I don't know. Marie is just confusing. But he says he's never been in love. So there's that. So But he said to her, when I ask you, like, what do you need or how can I do this? And she says, well, I can't tell you. You just need to know how to do it. He's being honest that he needs her to tell him because he really does not know. So for her, it's like, okay, I really have to show him because he really don't know. Like he really is lacking in the relationship area and really needs to be like he really just does not know how to be in a long-term committed serious relationship. He has not done it. So that was kind of like light bulbs. Unfortunately, it's kind of late in the game, but that's the thing with Marie. He's not very good at disclosing things about him, his spirituality, the truth about his spirituality. Now is late in the game. Oh, I've never been in love. It's like all these things that if you really have connections with people, they should know this about you. Why are you so late in the game disclosing this to women that you're trying to really truly have potentially a relationship with? This really is his fault. And I don't know if Jessica, his other connection, knows this about him. So, I don't know, Joe. I mean, he said it at the game, but previous to the game, did Jessica know about this? Moving on. Aries and Phil, they seem to be doing well. They've been connecting and canoodling and, rubbing up on each other and all that stuff. So they're doing well. I'm not going to say much about them in this episode recap. For episode 9, 10, there's more to discuss regarding them. So at the end, really quickly, Katarina and Chris, they had a few moments together and they connect because they have similar cultural backgrounds. But like I said, when Katarina is alone with someone, she always has some connection. But is the connection really truly there? Doubtful. Okay. At the end of the episode, the bottom two women were Sierra and Jessica. The men feel as though Sierra is really just that cool homie. She's fun. Some men feel as though her personality is too much. Some men like her personality, but not in a romantic way. Jessica, it was stated that she is too combative and that she can be too aggressive, and that is stopping them from developing a relationship. That is Chris. That is who some of the men just don't have connections, but the combativeness, etc. That is Chris's words. We'll get more on that in the episode recap of episode 10. So like I said, they did not say who went home in episode 9. So let's get into episode 10 and we'll discuss that and also everything else that happened in that episode. Alrighty, so in episode 10, they did reveal the woman that the men decided to send home and who they thought was not ready to love. And ultimately, they sent home Sierra, which is really unfortunate. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. I really like Sierra. I think that she is a ball of energy. She's a ball of fun, and the right man will know how to love her. That's that. I'm gonna leave that there. So, episode 10, the women are now in control, and so that means that one man is going home, and they did send a man home this episode, okay? So after Sierra was sent home, some of the singles discussed the elimination, and Janelle discussed the term combativeness, etc. And she was like, why were you all comfortable with that term? That term can be so destructive, particularly for Black women, because once you give Black women the label of aggressive or combative, or she didn't mention this, but I'm just gonna put this, like the angry Black woman, they can't get away from that. That's always gonna be such a derogatory term for a Black woman, and that's how she it's going to be seen. Even whether true or not, that's how one interaction, that's how she'll be seen forever. Why was that comfortable for you? What was going on? Who has seen Jessica as combative? And some of the men was like, I never, that wasn't me, not it. I've never seen Jessica as combative. The mofo that saw her as combative was Chris. Did he own up to it? Nope. Nope. And I'm going to get into this later. Nope. And so Marie, who is supposed to be Jessica's top connection, was like, yeah, I never seen her. And then he walked off. That should have been the main person who was like, Jessica, she is this, she is strong, she is this, she is that, she is sweet, she is Did he stand up for her? He walked away. When they say protect black women's, there's some that do and there's a lot that don't. He walked away. He was like, I can't handle the heat. What heat was it? If you have not experienced hers, that stand up for that's supposed to be you sent home to his connections. Marie's connections were Sierra. He sent her packing. And Jessica, stand up for your boo, huh? He walked away. I said, ciao. More on that, and more on this. And when I tell you this episode had me hot, and not in hot like in pissed me off bit. Yes, sir. As you can see in my elevatedness. Okay. So in the beginning of the episode, after they discussed what happened in elimination, some of them went fishing, and I was like, this brings back memories because I remember when I was a young little lady going fishing. Okay, anyways. And so they're fishing and Quentin's with Lee. Was it Lee? I be getting Lee and Jessica mixed up. Not that they look alike, but I think it was Lee. Yeah, it was Lee. And Quentin catches a fish and it's a really cool vibe, very laid back. And then, Janelle comes. I'm telling you, she must got like a Quentin is with a woman radar, because she just be coming out the woodworks. I think, it just be like, beep, 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 he with a woman, beep, beep, beep. And she was like, she far away, you caught a fish. And Lee is just like, child. Lee is very focused on Quentin. I'm like, you need to give that up, because Quentin is focused on Janelle. And it reminds me of, I don't know which season it is. I see their faces. I'm sorry. And it was someone who clearly was all about their top connection. They're literally married now, but kept this one chick, just that bae. Okay. But nonetheless, so Leah's like, oh, I got Quentin and just, oh my goodness. But then here comes Chris and he's like, hey, I just wanted to get something special. Like, you're really special to me, I got you some shoes. And I was just like, the gesture is nice. The shoes were like very flashy. She's like, you got me some shoes? I don't know. Okay. So she was happy. At the end of the day, I'm glad that she got that attention, because Quentin don't want you, honey boo. But I'm glad that she was getting the attention elsewhere, because the way Janelle just be engulfed with Quentin, and Quentin be trying to play it off as though he still is trying to see if anything else is out there. No, you're not. Just focus on Janelle. Okay? Anywho, in the house, Jessica does end up talking to Marie, and she's like, listen, have you experienced me as combative? Have you? And he's like, no. And she explains why. She's like, when we have that label of combative, of this, it's hard to get away from. That's not me. And you did not advocate or support me even though you've never experienced me that way. And she's like, I feel like at this point we just need to just keep it pushing. So things are not looking good for Jessica and Marie. Then Marie goes on a date with Katrina, Lord have mercy, Katarina. And they're just discussing about life. And she's like, whatever your spirituality is, if you in it, if you out it, you're unsure, I'm okay with it. And he's like, oh my God, really? I can be who I really am. So he brings out crystals and he's like, I'm gonna give you 2 of my favorite crystals. She's like, oh my gosh. And then he talks about how he wants to travel, and she's like, whoever she is one-on-one with, it's a connection. But the connection she has no connections with none of these men. I'm going to put it out there. They keep her on the show. She's very beautiful, but she does not have no true. Katarina and Maria are not a connection. They're not going to be riding off in the sunset into wedded bliss. They keep her on the show because she is good for TV and because she's pretty. That's it. She does not have a connection with Marie. Whenever she's on a date, dinner date, coffee date, bowling date, I don't know. Oh my gosh, I think, he really could. And then anywhere else, it's not a connection. They keep her around. It's time for her to someone needs to chuck up I do think that some people may have went and she could have went, not them. But they keep her around. She ain't got no connection with Marie. Ciao. I didn't mention this, but these dates are happening. So the retreat is over, and now these are the singles going on solo dates. Transition flawless, right? No. So then Janelle and Quentin go on a single date, and basically like they're connected to each other. Janelle is not letting up on Quentin. And so Quentin just asks her about how do you handle disagreements or conflicts, and they discuss that, and that's that. I'm not going to talk much about Janelle and Quentin. They're pretty locked in. Aries and Phil go on a single date, and Aries questions Phil because he's mentioned how he's been in a bit of a transitional period. He's been changing career, etc. And she just asks, like, what does financial stability look like for you? She's successful in her career, but she has 2 kids. He has a child. What does that look like for him? I don't know if he really answered that. I think he said, I was going through a tumultuous time, but now, I'm stable and I'm focused. So I don't know if that fully answered her question. He's like, I'm stable, I'm focused, but like, what is your career? What is your financial stability? What is your goals? Like, how can you maintain a household? I don't know if he truly answered that for her, but Aries and Phil have been pretty locked in within the last few episodes, so things are still going well for them nonetheless. At the end of this episode, the bottom 2 men were Chris and Marie. The women just feel as though he gives friend vibes at the end of the day. And Chris, the women were not happy that he did not admit to being the one to say that Jessica was combative, and when questioned, he lied about it. They questioned his trustworthiness, etc. So the women decided that Chris was not ready to love. And let me tell you, when they picked Jessica to be the one to tell him, the producers knew what they were doing, because him and Jessica do not get along. Really, he don't get along with Jessica. Jessica is just like, I don't care about Chris. When Jessica told him that he was not ready to love, when I tell you he went off, every season there is a man who shows out, and not in a good way. Chris has been Oh, I'm so sweet. I'm so humble. I'm so. When I tell you he showed his tail, it's interesting how he was calling Jessica combative and he ended up being the combative one. He was cussing her out. F bombs everywhere. He was like, you don't respect me. And I'm a man. You supposed to respect me. Child, who are you? And she wasn't, she was sitting there. She was calm. She was poised. She was like, I don't know what I did to you, but it's something about me that triggers you. Child, who? She shouldn't have said that. Because that had him flying. I don't give a F about you or whatever he was in his diary thing. He was like, it's something about Jessica. She evil. Meanwhile, she's sitting calm as, what's evil about her, boo? What triggers her about her? What upsets you about her? Let me tell you something about Chris. He tells her, you know, you and Janelle are mean girls. Let me tell you something about Chris. He reminds me of somebody in my life. They're not current. I mean, they're around, but they're not in my life. Certain men, and this is why, and it brings me back to what his ex said, you know, he likes a woman that's submissive. And child, they don't like strong women. They don't like when, you know, they want you to go along. You know, you have to go along to get along. They don't like you call, you know, they're polished. They perfect. Oh, nothing wrong with you. You better, listen, I'm the man. I'm the big dog. I run the household. Ain't nothing wrong with me. When you call them out on their stuff, they cannot handle it. And it's not that she's being combative. Everyone has, are you human? Everyone has their stuff. But they can't have, no, you, who are you? You're a woman. You can't call me out. You know, they bros maybe, you know, maybe can, you know, but a woman, oh, how dare you? You stay in a woman's place. He got so upset. He like he was about to cry. He was so angry. He was about to cry. Not you. And she's sitting there just like, just sitting, hands folded, just calm. Meanwhile, he about to have a darn panic attack. Not you telling me about who. You're a woman. How dare you? What? Yeah, she did. Who's the combative one now? And I don't care. I know I said what I said. I know I chose some words, but I don't regret what I said. Of course you don't. Cause it's to a woman. And how dare she say what she said? And she didn't even say anything. But how dare she speak to you, right? Cause you're a man. And you're successful. And you're handsome. But nonetheless, you're a man, and she didn't stay in a woman's place. If y'all don't get Krista out of there, I know. I mean, I went watching it. I was just like, can I fight him real quick? And I'm not even a fighter, but I know. Ooh, I'm like, no, she was, and I understand. She's very direct. She's very, you know what I'm saying. But was she combative? Oh. You know, can she maybe call you out? Yeah. But was she the way no. And the way that he acted explained everything to me. Yep, I get it. Oh, no, not you. Not you telling me about me. Stay in a woman's place. Stay at home. Cook the meals. Raise them babies. Be in that kitchen. Clean that house. That's where you belong. Not you. Bye, Chris. Toodaloo. And just like the woman, oh, he never supported me. I had to support him. Said everything. That's why I said Aries is not for him. Aries would never. What? Aries is a boss. Like, she very successful. She, you know. He has a lot of growing up, and honestly, he has a lot of growing up and maturing to do, but also he will definitely find a woman that will do because of his whatever his stature is, his, you know, he brings in, if he is what he says he is, he makes good money. And there are women who are totally fine, you know, Chill. Get Chris on up out of there. And he'll justify everything. And meanwhile, she's sitting there as poised as can be. No. Bye, Chris. I thought I was going to go. I didn't really go off. Watching it. and I'm really calmingly back. But what I tell you about yourself, yeah, I will, And I can't stand it. Women have the right to voice whatever. And men do too. But, you're not going to squash my voice because you feel like you're a man and you didn't. No, what? Mama didn't raise me that way and daddy didn't raise me that way. I have the right to say what I gotta say, So, anywho, in the house. And he doesn't believe that women are equal. And he said that I don't believe in gender roles and that gender roles have to be traditional and the woman has to be. Bye, Chris. So let's see recap before I keep going. Bye, Chris. Bye. There's a door. So the next episode, the singles are going to bring their connections to their family, and that's always an interesting episode. But Katarina ain't got no connections. Jessica, this is the interesting thing. She told Jessica told Marielle deuces, but then she was like in the ladies' lounge, oh yeah, it's me and Marielle, that's my connection. Girl, you just trying to stay on the show? Marielle is not your connection. He wouldn't even stand up for you. The connections really are Phil and Aries and Janelle and Quentin. And I really kind of feel like Quentin should kind of run a little bit. The best connection probably is Phil and Aries. Janelle, it's something about her, but I think that she could potentially be okay with Quentin. Other than that, there's no other connections. Lee, no, I don't see her with nobody else. So yeah, it's a lot of like trimming of the fat, for lack of a better way to put it. Still, that's where we are. That's my recap. I mentioned kind of moving forward, just trying to flesh out what my next reality show recap will be. I don't know what's going on with Married at First Sight. I haven't heard. And I said that I wanted to potentially try Love and Marriage, Huntsville. I'm not going to be able to catch up on the episodes. I may just have to come in where they are. So I don't know. We'll see. Because this is once they meet the family, there's only a few more episodes left. So Ready to Love is definitely coming to a close very soon. So we'll see. But what are your thoughts? Who are your connections? Let me know. You can always hit me up at internalramblespodcast.com. You can also find me on YouTube, Internal Rambles. One word, no space. Search for me over there. Let me know. And yeah, this was an interesting couple of episodes. So thank you for tuning in. Truly appreciate you. If you're new or if you missed any of my recaps, please listen to my previous ones. And until next episode, take care of yourselves. Self-care is very important. And until I talk to you again, this is your girl, Rochelle.